Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Flank. I'm joined by my friend, my companion, my duo. You already know the vibe. It's Ben Janus. Same Ben, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Tom. It's been a great day, long weekend here, as we talked about on the last show. So enjoying my Sunday, and I got Monday off, which is good. I don't got to go to work, so was excited to watch some sports today. The Knicks lost, so I was pissed. But it's some interesting COD matches, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, we had a lot of stuff going on today, right? You got the Lakers game, the Knicks, so the NBA playoffs are going on.
Jordan Spieth is throwing. I'm kind of pissed about that, but it's all good.
Yeah, you got the Valorant finals, right? Sentinels, they ended up not dropping any maps, which was impressive.
Yeah.
It was very impressive to watch them play. I've been getting
Shout
into
out
Valorant.
Tens.
Yeah, I've been getting into Valorant. All of them, honestly, that sick guy was going off too.
Yeah, six been nasty.
They were all doing their
Cisco.
thing. So I was definitely tuning into Valorant a little bit, and then of course we were watching Call of Duty, which today, Ben, a very quick day. We had 3 series, and they were all 3-0s. All three of them.
It's a good change of pace. We've had some long days of COD, so I'm glad we had a short one today. People can enjoy the show and then go off to dinner for those on the East Coast. And we want to get right into it.
Yeah, we could. Did you golf today? No golf?
Yeah, I golfed this morning.
That's great.
We played a 4-man scramble. It was some of the directors of Esports Engine versus the Young. So a couple of us plus my friend Rich.
Nice.
Rich CGR on Twitter, I think. If I got his Twitter handle right, but
I know Rich. I played Knockout City with him, I think.
Yeah.
I was playing with Rich. He's a good guy. He's a good fucking guy.
Yeah, Rich is a great guy. We smoked the olds today. I had some great wedge shots, had some good short game. Drive was a bit off, but it's a scramble. You go out, you have fun. So
that's good. Yeah. That's good. Somebody commented that one of the comments getting thumbs up on yesterday's videos is can we stop talking about golf? So I made sure to talk about golf today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We keep talking about golf. It's all good.
And we also got Parasite joining us today on the show. Parasite, how you doing?
Doing good, more of the same. Just talked about some stuff with my team. Pretty basic day. I'm right there with you, staying up late. But instead of playing Valorant like you, I was playing Knockout City ranked play for hours.
Really, there's so many games that I just I'm addicted to. I'm addicted to Knockout. I'm addicted to Valorant, and even COD. Like sometimes I get addicted to League play and War. I've been playing Warzone a little bit. So it's just so many different games to play. So definitely, living the gamer lifestyle a little bit. But my sleep schedule's all over the place, Chris. I'm losing my fucking mind. I think I slept in all the way till the game started today. And just a little tired. But for the most part, feeling good. We had some great matches today, and we're going to get right into it. We're kicking things off with the Florida Mutineers going up against the London Royal Ravens. And like I predicted, Florida, they kept that momentum going through this next series. They came off a big dub a couple days ago, and they get another big dub today against London, who they pick up Afro and Alex. They seem like they have a lot of potential, but they didn't show that much today, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, so let's talk about Florida. I think now we've got a decent body of work with this team over the last couple of weeks, where it seems like they've taken another step as a team. Now they did have that tough run at the major where they lost 6 straight, but outside of those 2 matches, they've played some pretty good COD the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
and I think they're starting to go a few steps up in the power rankings. You could see or have an argument, where do you rank them in regards to teams like Minnesota and Thieves and Dallas? This is my team to watch, man. I'm really excited to see what they do in this group, and when they go to LAN, it seems like they're making really good team plays and team decisions, especially in the respawns, and the S&Ds looking pretty nice. I'm excited that we've finally seen this Florida team turning around a little bit.
I mean, we've been saying it all year, have we not? That it's just like the potential that these guys have, the talent that they have on a roster. You just want to see them put it together. And I think the main thing for them is just figuring out their play style, what works for them, what's going to work for their team. And it just seems like it's all coming together, and it's coming together at a good time. Because you're getting to that point of the year where you got the big one coming up, and this is when you want to show out, right? So I think if you're a Florida fan, you're going to be really happy with the way some of these guys have been playing. I think the one thing that I've really noticed is that their teamwork has just been a lot better. Their trades are better. When you're looking at the mini-map, it seems like they have a better understanding of what they want to do. I feel like they've definitely talked about things. They probably have watched tons of film. You could definitely see that they're going back into practice and that they're working really hard on their game. And not really individual talent, but just kind of like their priorities on the map and what they're trying to do. Parasite, I'm curious to get your thoughts after this Astro Gaming listening from Florida.
Yo, one's rat. Yo, I can get that right. Still rat.
Yeah, one's still rat. He's still rat.
They can go new
Push
pink.
me out, push me out, Paul, push me out street. He's on the bus, he's on the bus.
That's
I thought, there's 20 P3,
I'm backing up P3. Wait, one's here.
P3, I'm behind him. I'm gonna block P2. I'm gonna block P2 just in case. He went around. No, street dead. Yo, P2. He's on P2.
Play your life laundry, Joe. Play your life laundry.
Every half. Yeah, grab gold with me. Nothing half fall. I can't be gold.
He came out. He's hold on.
We can get that spot. We can spot.
Be honest. Behind us, bro.
On P3. Laundry ball dead.
Hold on.
Grab gold.
Yo, you gotta stay pushed out.
Come on.
He's on your side.
I need him right side. Yo, street.
I'm only behind us.
One shot hill, Shawnee. Two bottom
One
Eskies.
shot bottom Eskies.
Yeah.
There's two in time.
Hold. Back. Second laundry. I'm seeing peeking laundry. Yo, laundry window, left corner.
Eskies.
Left corner laundry window. Dead.
Let's check. Hit the back.
Nice,
Let's
go.
One shot. Two ult. Last row. Let's fucking go.
Let's cut him off. Oh, dead. Do not die. I'm chilling. I got
Right side.
I got one. Nice.
Heard it. Laundry's open.
I'm gonna say laundry. You guys remember the setup.
Yeah.
I got hill. One's under laundry.
Heard it. I have street.
Yeah, I'm in hill.
Alright, phone.
I flashed myself. Fuck.
Both the laundry. Both shot. Three laundry window. Heard it.
Stormy seas right now.
I mean, great listening, to be honest. I mean, again, you hear them talking about it in the listening. Do the setup. Do this. Make sure to stay alive here. I mean, one thing that I really noticed was Skies. Skies is just the energy vocal leader for me. I feel like he's really stepping up in that category. Havoc was doing a little bit. Yep. Havoc. But Chris, tell me a little bit about this Florida team and what impresses you the most about these guys.
Well, lately in all their listen-ins that we've seen from their last matches, their comms have just been way better than what we've seen prior to obviously this stage. On top of that, obviously just using a lot more teamwork, and you're getting a lot more production out of everyone. Colt had a really good series, I think, versus Toronto. Skies had a really good series here, so you're getting production out of every single player on the roster, which was a big issue with them before, whether it was Awakening or Caesar that wasn't playing well, or Cold, or Havoc. Sorry, you're getting production out of everyone, which is I think the main thing, and that's obviously going to happen when their comms are on point and they're playing a lot together now. They're looking just way better than they did in the last few stages.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we can talk like it's just the coordination. I mean, let's talk about this break here as we're watching on P3 Moscow, and something I've noticed is we've seen this a lot with hills and how the meta changes over time. Teams have been doing a lot of hitting the back on this hill. So naturally, teams are going to start to have openings when they hit the front. And that's what Florida does. They 4-hit front. They're able to hold this from the front. And I agree with you, Chris. I think the team play and the team coordination has been a lot better for Florida on this run. And that's what they need if they want to take that next step up as a team.
The one thing that I'm interested, though, is so they obviously beat Toronto, so they're the favorites to win this group with the way everyone else is looking. And the worst part is they're not going to – let's say Florida continues to be really good. Obviously, Dallas is seeing their struggles, and they did beat Toronto. But I'm curious to see what happens when they do match up against, FaZe, for example, because although they beat Toronto had a really, really bad series. They didn't get, any production from Cammy when they played, and that's usually one of their star players, obviously. So I'm curious to see what happens when they match up against, a team like FaZe, if they do continue this run that they're having, which we probably won't see until the major.
All I'll say is that New York is still in their group.
Oh, New York. I forgot about that. Yeah.
And
so
that's going to be an interesting matchup. I still probably give New York the edge here to take this group away, and Toronto could still go 4-1. But I agree, Florida has a really good shot at making a winner's bracket with this group, especially the struggles we've seen from Dallas as of late.
They need a good run. They need a good winner's bracket. They could really use one. I think not even for their standings, but just for their confidence and their momentum moving forward.
Well, let's talk about the standings because Florida's in the 8th spot right now, and they have such a big week that they've now put a decent gap between them and all the teams in 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So
have they?
Yeah.
Is it that big of a gap? What's the gap looking like then?
The gap is now 50 points.
Okay, yeah, it's a lot better
between
than
them
before.
And LAG.
That's a lot better than before, for sure. I mean, it's exactly what they needed. And I'm happy to see a lot of these guys stepping up to play. But let's talk about London a little bit. Because London was looking so good. They had Zed, right? They had that team with him, right? And they ended up picking up Afro. They bring in Alex. And maybe they thought that the potential with this roster is a little bit better. Maybe they think they have a higher ceiling. But they're not seeming like the same London. But at the same time, when you watch them play, I feel like the potential is there. Afro is a very good player. I think he's very good. I like the way he plays. I like the way he thinks about the game. You could tell not only is he talented, but he's also a very smart player, the way he moves around the map. He definitely knows what he's doing. But you want to start seeing them put up some results because they were getting the results prior to making a change. And, maybe they thought this roster was better, but what's going on here, Ben? What's going on with these guys?
I'll say with London is, they look good at the major. They lost that. They got 3-0 by Thieves, and sort of that momentum fell out. I don't think they played like ultimately this 3-0 aside. Like I don't think they played bad in that series against Dallas. They were pretty
No, they
competitive
didn't.
in
That's what I'm saying. They're not
four of
playing
the five
bad.
halves
They're
of that
not
series.
bad. They're not
Yeah,
bad.
like they put themselves in an 0-2 hole now, so they're gonna have to get a result against like Toronto and New York, which will be really tough for them to make winners. But like London is a team again that can go into this losers bracket and get some momentum and like back to a top 6, top 8. I want to give them a little bit of time
They're
here
a new
before
team.
we toss on the bus. I will say though they have been change happy. I would have liked to have seen them maybe give it a run with their last team before they made this change, but they made the move and let's see how it works out for them long term.
I think the main thing for me is maybe not 2 changes. If you want to bring an Afro, maybe bring him in for one guy, but to make 2 changes and just change up the whole dynamic of the team because it was
Yeah.
working. And it's like one of those things where I don't understand why this year I feel like the whole gimmick this year is if the team's working, their CDL teams are changing, and if the team's not working, they're not changing. So it's just like it's just weird. Sometimes I feel like some of these teams, they don't know what the fuck's going on. But Parasite, what do you think? Do you like watching these London guys play? I personally think they're a great team, but so far they haven't been executing.
I mean, I've been enjoying watching them play just because they've been a lot more competitive in a lot of their series. Maybe not so much in the map count department in this series, but I mean, even this map was close, and they had plenty of opportunities to close it out, despite Paul having an off game, which usually you don't see from Paul. But if anything, you can take that positive away. Like Paul had a really bad series, but they were still pretty good in a lot of the maps. I don't think they I didn't get to really watch the series, so I could be talking out of my ass here. But this map looked really close, despite Paul.
That was a good map.
Playing poorly. On top of that, I don't think their map pool is very good right now, especially with the fact that they added 2 new players. So when you add 2 new players onto your team, that's when you have to like really figure out your map pool. And going back to the vetoes, I think Florida did a really good job of taking maps away that London looked good in versus Dallas, and it ended up working out for them in the series.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to talk about a play. I know, Haggy, you went ahead and talked about this on Twitter, but the situation here at the end of this map. So just to kind of set it up, it's P2. Florida is spawning out, and they go ahead and they hit all with a couple of guys. It ends up being kind of like a 2v2, 2v3 situation. Ultimately, instead of backing up here middle, Awakening decides to hit Hill and go for the last 20 seconds. He dies. He ends up spawning on a pinch because he can't hold his cam. His team's already fully rotated in the back. And this kind of ends up benefiting him in sort of a weird way. As he watches play out, he's going to kind of wrap behind all these London players and end up shooting them all in the back and elbow.
I mean, I saw Nameless talking about this, where he was like, if Awakening meant to do that, to 200 IQ play. But to be honest, like, I feel like London needs to just go. Like Awakening spawning out. Like London's just taking too long to make a play. Like they should have flooded through elbow or they should have done something quicker. They have the numbers. They get the initial kill. It might be a 200 IQ play to people, but I mean he's spawning out. I mean that's what London wants. They want him to spawn out. Yeah, he's gonna work a pinch eventually, but. Chris, what do you think?
So we had argument on Twitter with me and a few other people, but they were misinterpreting the situation. Again, I didn't get to watch this match, so I didn't really know exactly where and when this happened. And the only time that it's good to do that is when your team is going to be on the like bad side of a hill. Mm-hmm. So I'll give you an example here. On this hill, for example, let's say Florida here is obviously holding the majority this time, and London is going to have to rotate street. Eventually, London is going to be wanting to pinch gold and pinch the bus, correct?
Yep.
Because you want the bus side of the hill. So one thing that you can do is while your team rotates the streets and sets up for a potential break when the new hill pops and you're spawning at old, you can hit the scrap. And so one of 2 things happen here. You're hitting the scrap and you're getting the guy off old, which then you can pinch elbow and start prematurely pinching bank, essentially. Yeah. Or you're going to die, right? And so you have 2 options when you die. If you die around 6 seconds, you can hold your cam and spawn with your teammate street, or you can spawn early and potentially spawn at the back of the bank, because a lot of the time those the players on the opposite team are pushed up in gold and the street, so you'll spawn behind them, or you'll spawn in front of old, which again sets you up for a pinch. Yep. So like it only works on chainable hills, but those chainable hills you have to be on the back end. In that scenario, it only worked because London misplayed the situation when they had Awakening spawning out. You wouldn't do that on that hill particularly because those P2 and P3 are not chainable.
Yep. I
And,
mean,
and
that's a
you're
good
and you
point.
also potentially screw your team over. If
Yeah,
they end up in a
exactly.
3v4 situation.
Yeah,
That's definitely
exactly.
a good point for
See,
sure.
that only works in scenarios where the enemy team is contesting scrap or has a guy on scrap, because at that point you're rotating 3v3 and you're setting yourself up to either get the player off scrap or set yourself up for a pinch, which you're going to be doing anyways.
Yep.
It's almost like you benefit from dying. I mean,
Yes.
realistically.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
you just push old. I like the play, right? Because you have 2 decisions to make, like you said.
Yeah.
And you can work a pinch. It's like you said, prematurely popping your kill cam so you can work a pinch on the hill.
Teams do that all the time on other maps. So
Uh-huh.
Garrison's one of those maps on P4 where players will intentionally die, right? If the other team is fully set up on P5 to spawn behind them at the mid tanks so that they can get a pinch rather than working into a full setup together and dying and getting spawned out in the back anyways.
It's situational because there's times too where I think the better play is just to rotate as a team, use your numbers because there's going to be a guy on old, right? So if you use your numbers at new, you can work some trades and get control of whatever you need to get control
100%.
of. It depends on where you're spawning, how close you are to your team, where you are on the map. It's very situational, but that's a very good point, Chris.
Yeah.
Then we go into the next map. We go into Express S&D, and Florida are steamrolling these motherfuckers. What the fuck's going on here, Ben?
Yeah, Florida got to a 4-round lead, and then they just kind of play the momentum from there. London are actually like a decent Express team now. Was with their old squad, and Florida just came out and just did a really good job winning a lot of rounds. They didn't win first blood. There were 9 rounds, and Florida won 2 rounds where they didn't get first blood, and every round where they did get first blood, they ended up winning. So they just did a really good job of sort of working the numbers as a team. We skipped over the first 4 rounds, just really really well played offensive and defensive situations. Offense is getting bombed down, getting picks, and on defense, they were playing a strong B and then rotating over to A and just doing a really good job of getting the retakes.
Express is becoming very rotational heavy. Like teams are like going back and forth. They're trying to break ankles. They're trying to play mind games. We saw it today in the FaZe OpTic match, which we'll talk about. But you just see people trying to come up with new things. They're definitely learning the map. You definitely see some new strats coming out from a lot of these CDL teams. I think people are going back and trying to find different ways to play this map. And I like watching it. S&D is one of my favorite game modes because of that reason. Everybody has their own way of playing it, and you could be very creative in it. Where in hardpoint control, there's always like a right and wrong way to play it, I feel like. But in S&D, I feel like everybody has their own style. So
100%.
just to see them do what you see them change it up and just kind of be all over the map and work different strats it's really cool to see.
Yeah, this was actually a good matchup to watch because I feel like Florida and Ravens play this map very similarly. You saw in the last series where Ravens were just like playing super aggressive and just committing to bomb sites. And I feel like Florida also has that tendency to on this map where they just like to bully out sites and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a really fun one to watch because it was very mixy in certain rounds.
Yeah. London had a really good play they attempted here. They tried to put aggression on A and then have guys pinch bridge. And the bridge guys got pushed back, and then Paul was sort of left in a really funky situation. Again, Florida did a really good job playing the numbers here. And I believe, actually, London wound up winning this round, I think.
I'm pretty sure London won this round. Don't London bring it back a little bit?
Actually, Florida won this round.
Doesn't London bring it back a little bit, though? Don't they get a couple rounds? It ends up with Neptune just frying them. If I remember correctly, Neptune picks up a big 2-piece.
It's 2 straight here for London to make it a 5-3, and Neptune
goes
fries with
huge.
the end.
I thought London was going to start making a comeback. Like, they started winning some rounds. They were adapting a little bit to what Florida was doing, and they started shutting down some of their pushes. But again, the individual talent of Florida really starts to show. Neptune is always getting pieces in this area of the map. Every time it's on this A bomb site, this A building, he's always dipping and weaving all over the place here. He's ledge sliding. He's sliding around under the window.
Good movement, Tom.
He has great movement. Honestly, he's really exciting to watch.
Yeah, this map is his playground. He's kind of like Shotzi in a sense on the way he plays this map. He's just very finessey, and he does a really good job of playing whatever bomb site he decides to play.
And I like the aggression. I like the playmaking ability. You see Havoc. He works all the way up mid-map. He puts some shots down, almost picks up a kill there. He somehow gets away with his life here. I don't know how. I
3 HP.
I don't know how the hell he got out of there. They had literally had him pinned in the corner, and he was one shot. But just the aggression, he pins London. Look, there's 45 seconds left, and London's still in their spawn. I mean, they're still pinned all the way back in their spawn. Eventually they start making moves, but Florida, they have all the control. They're pushed up the map. They're all over the place. They know exactly where London is. They have the B bomb control. They have people mid-map, so there's only one place these guys can be, and that's on the A bomb site. So they have them completely cornered. They end up doing a good job making plays. Havoc's making plays. He gets the guy off the bomb, and it ends up, this is a round where I'm pretty sure Neptune goes massive, picks up a big 2-piece, and they end up closing this one out. And it was a good map out of the Florida boys. I like the improvements that I'm seeing from this squad. And from London, I think it'll take them a little bit of time. You know, they changed half their roster. So an S&D is a game where, you know, sometimes it might take a little bit of time to get that chemistry, get that rhythm, try and find out what works for you. So I definitely think these guys need to go back to the drawing board and figure out what the hell's going wrong with their searches. But props to London to go up 2-0, and at this point they use their momentum and they come out in this control and they absolutely fry Ben. Florida fries.
Yeah, I mean we'll skip to the first round.
They're all over the map,
they're
Ben.
They're
They're
just in the
pushing
base.
out left, right. They're in the base. Havoc's running around, this and that.
London did cap A sort of in the beginning of this round, but then they get put in that like mega spawn trap here for a minute. Yeah.
And we actually saw Rambo Ray from Dallas Empire talking about spawns. He was actually breaking it down for a lot of you who don't know how spawns work. Rambo actually broke it down on the Dallas Empire Twitter if you want to go check it out. But there's ways to just pin teams into a corner of the map and just absolutely just finesse and fry them, not let anybody out. So Florida does a good job using their teamwork. And the most important thing is the aggression. I mean, this is what you want to see. Like, the teams that are the most aggressive, the teams that play with pace and are quick with their decision-making, those are the teams that are hard to beat. Those are the teams that are going to win championships. It's just hard to play against. It's very hard to play against, and that's what I love about this roster. But, Chris, was there anything that caught your eye? I'm not even sure if you watched this series. Chris, did you watch the series?
No, I woke up super late, so I didn't watch the series.
The Knockout City was really getting to you, huh?
Yeah, but the one thing I want to piggyback off of what you said is when we're talking about aggression, this is something that we've talked about before. Aggression means making fast, decisive decisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not about just like sprinting forward and taking like hella chows.
You gotta know where the gaps are.
Yes, exactly. And it's always about the teams that make the quick decisions, whether they're right or wrong sometimes, that do things with teamwork. Those are the teams that are going to play the best.
Yeah.
It's not so much about just running around and getting in as much gunfights as possible.
It's knowing when to slow down and when to speed up and when to play. You know what I'm saying? It's situational, and that's what makes a good Call of Duty player good. It's just
100%.
knowing when they can push, when they can hit those gaps, and also being able to communicate where you're pushing. If you're blocking spawns, let them know where they're spawning, how it's affecting things on the map. I mean, there's so much that goes into Call of Duty that people have no idea about, and that's what makes some players really good. And a lot of the times, right, there's players who aren't statistically dropping the best numbers, and you have fans that are complaining about, oh, he sucks, and then you have pros who are like, no, this guy's good. One guy that I could say is Venom. A lot of people attacking Venom from 100 Thieves, but he's one of those players who's like really good at making plays. He's very impactful on the map. He's very good in the comms. He's a great teammate. I think that's why Cap and all the 100 Thieves guys really like him over there. And it's things that people don't see. It's things that people don't understand.
100%.
So stuff like that.
Yeah, so let's talk next steps for both these teams going into next week. So a real tough week for London. They're now in that kind of 0-2 hole. They are going to go ahead and play Toronto Ultra in their one match upcoming next week. So that's going to be a real tough task for them to try and not go down the 0-3 hole against a Toronto team.
Yeah.
It's coming off a big win.
They look great, by the way. Toronto look great.
And on the flip side for Florida, I believe they play twice next week. So they play New York on Friday, and that should be an absolute banger. And then they'll play LAG on Sunday. So, you know, if Florida are able to grab that New York win and they take care of business against LAG, they might be sitting in 4-0 in this group, which would be pretty interesting. I expect, though, New York will probably take that dub. I
mean, listen, Florida's playing good. And you know me, I'm a big New York guy, but New York's going to have their hands full with these guys. I've been saying it all year. They have the talent and the pieces to put it together, but their inconsistencies just continue to show. But now they're getting to that level where I feel like they're working together and they're working around the map and they look like they're more as a unit, more as a team. New York got their hands full. It's not going to be an easy dub by any means. So New York needs to make sure they got their shit together coming into this match because they're looking really good. But they end up closing this one out 3-0, if I remember correctly, right, Ben? London didn't even get around. 3-0. Florida was all over the map. They were pushing out lanes, good maps out of the sub players, being a nuisance. Shout out to everybody from Florida and even everybody from London. I think you guys got a great team. I think, you know, you still got to just put some work in and try and figure out the formula. But we go into the next map. We have Bance from Toronto Ultra meditating once again. Listen, I don't know what it is, but I think that's a good thing what he's doing. A lot of people will tease him or, you know, to try and make fun of him. I mean, I know they're just joking around, but for the most part, I think it's good to control your breathing when you're playing in a lot of like these big matches, these big games. You're at the highest level. Sometimes you can get a little jittery. Sometimes your heart gets pumping. It's the adrenaline. So just being able to take some deep breaths, relax, close your eyes. Clay was a really big part, did that a lot. He would always tell us to relax, take some deep breaths, make sure that we stay focused and just clear our mind. That stuff really helps, guys. I mean, when you're gaming, it's not just about running around and getting kills. You need to make sure your mind is cleared. You need to make sure you're thinking straight and you're making the right decisions on the map. So that's why you see Bance doing stuff like that. So it's very interesting to see him do it on cam. But we go into a series. It's Toronto Ultra going up against Dallas Empire. Ben, I see you have the maps up. Is there anything here that you want to talk about?
No, I mean, just ends up being a tricky matchup for Dallas because they got to get rid of Raid against Toronto. And Toronto's really good at Garrison. So it's just not a particularly good matchup for Dallas right now with their teeny tiny map pool, especially with their control struggles as well.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just want to cut to the chase a little bit here with this Dallas team. They're just not performing individually. They really aren't. I mean, it's very simple. Like, if you can't perform individually, it's going to hurt. I mean, I'm going to pull up the stats here. You have a .63 coming out of Shotzi, which is very rare from him. You don't see it often. You have a .58 coming out from Vivid. So the two sub players just got absolutely smoked today. You have Illy, who's been struggling throughout this year. He had a .94. The only one positive is Crim6, who, honestly, Porter looks pretty good on the map.
Oh, hold on now. I contest that. Porter has had some bad series this year. This is a rare opportunity where he was playing at the level we expect from him, and they didn't capitalize on it. The sub players had a tough day. I agree. Like, they're just not getting slaying consistency. And I wonder if some of it is just down to teamwork. Are they not making it easy on themselves with the way they challenge things together as a team, with the way they bounced off and they bait each other? Like, I think it's a little bit more than just they're not shooting their guns straight. I think we've got enough of a sample size now with 3 different versions of this roster where they have had issues with respawn game modes. They've been struggling all year in S&D. I just think, like, the teamwork in the system is not there right now for these guys.
I talked to Porter. I talked to Crim after the match. I reached out. I was talking to him a little bit and just, getting his thoughts on things. And, I mean, that guy has no excuses at all. I mean, he just straight up said, listen, man, we're not playing good, especially individually. He thinks individually they're just a lot better than that. And in practice, they feel like they've been showing that. But in the games, they're just not capitalizing on it. And he thinks the main thing is just maybe a confidence thing. I'm echoing right now. Is that you? Is that you, Chris? Is that?
Is it me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just.
Yeah, it is you, Chris. If you can let me
okay, sorry.
I think the main thing is just the confidence for Porter. He just wants these guys to get their confidence back, making sure they're making plays on the map, and that happens a lot for some players. Ben, I mean, a confidence issue can be a big thing. I mean, you can have a player that when they're feeling confident, they're one of the best players ever. And when things aren't going their way and they start overthinking a lot of their plays and they lose their confidence a little bit, it's really going to hinder their gameplay. And, I mean, I've went through struggles like that competing. I know a lot of other players have gone through those struggles. Scump even talked about it once on the bench. He had a few drinks and we were talking about it late night. And he was like, when your confidence is there, that's when you're at your best. So sometimes you just need to get to, make sure that the culture and the team is good and making sure that they're taking the right steps to just get back into that rhythm, get back into that where that firepower was, those world championship mindset that they had. Maybe Clay was a big part of that, right? Maybe Clay was a big part of the energy levels and getting these guys together and just bringing them together and getting their confidence up. But I think the main thing for these guys is just to not give up because, they know their potential. Now they just need to put it together, and they haven't been doing that. So it's disappointing to see, but I wouldn't count these guys out by any means. Let's go into a listening with Dallas Empire, and then, Chris, we'll get your thoughts when we come back.
Okay.
Outside pillar weak. Outside hug weak.
Bad
shot. They might shriek.
Hold.
Kitchen. Could be all.
Yo, in Tiki half.
There's one in pool. Yeah, I'm trying to get one shot, bro.
Yeah, fly Z.
Push out. You going front. Left side. He killed. That one.
Mirror front.
Let's get ring. Me now.
You want the supporter thing?
You guys hold that? Yeah, hold ring.
Don't line up. Yeah, don't line up. Yo, you say no.
You guys have
I'm Yo,
first pillar dead.
Nice. One's water steps.
Let's do that. Let's go. We can go.
Yo, but 2 water steps.
Top bar, Cammy. One.
I knew they said we.
Do you have tricks in there? No.
One's holding water stairs. One's on their side of hill.
Yeah. Let's go get ring. Yeah, take your time. Yeah, reset your time. He's gonna push out. He's gonna push our ring somewhere.
Yeah, I'm going on her. He's laying on her.
I got one water step.
I bought a Reese. Yeah, he's top ring.
Top ring.
Nice.
Let's
do
Watch up hill.
that hill. Square. He's front kitchen.
Front kitchen, Kleenex, item twice. He's down the wall. Green coin.
Sure, yeah, I'm paying one time. You go behind me pillar. First pillar, guys. Still holding.
I'm helping you old ring.
I'm about to go water stairs.
Yeah, I'm gonna go kitchen. You guys double work that.
Yeah.
Water stairs. Can we water stairs weak?
Pitches in.
Stay water stairs. You stay water stairs.
I don't see one water steps. Water steps dead.
Time and.
Watch shot close right down. Did you get that crack?
Yo, behind you, kitchen. Make sure hold spawns. Where do you go?
Yo, Cammy's going laundry.
Cammy dead.
Yo, pushing me, please.
I'm going water stairs.
You take your time. Make the money.
Yeah. One's gonna be art.
Hey, I'm blue van.
Every top right. He's
I
right
know,
right
I know.
on the inside. Watch out.
Dead.
Well, Joe, I know it was a little bit ago, but basically exactly what you said about streaks at court happened.
What do you think, Ben, Chris? What do you guys think?
I like their comms. It just seems
Yeah.
like they were getting pieced up when they need to finish off like the last like kill or break or something like that. It didn't seem like their comms were a problem.
I mean, it really goes to show the individual talent that Toronto has as well. I mean, we're
100%.
gonna talk about Kleenex today, especially in that control. But I mean, when they get 2 or 3 dead, they just have a guy who's just being a nuisance. It's so hard to kill him. They're just throwing shimmies, they're throwing tags, they're peppering shots, and they're just hard kills on the map. I mean, Toronto, they're a good team, man. They're a really good team, and they're definitely hard to beat. I think Dallas is just like, you're right, Chris. Like, it's just like executing. Like, you have Porter going up water stairs. He picks up a couple kills. They have 3 dead, and they still don't even break the hill. It's like little things like that they need to just make sure that they're really clutching up on some of these plays. It's like they need to find their ice back. They need to get that ice that they had
I mean,
back.
realistically, it just seems like they're getting pieced up. And I actually Reese DM'd me because I tweeted out Dallas ? Because I just was like, I'm like mind blown. I'm like, these guys literally just can't get anything going anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, he said that he couldn't get anything going, and once he fixes that himself, they'll be better. So I guess that's going back to like just individual performances. And I said, it feels like there's I DM'd them back and I said, I feel like there's a lot of dumb assery on the map going on too. And he says, yeah, I don't know, the map feels so weird for me. So I guess it goes back to like not only like individual performance, but I feel like they're just not making like really good decisions as a team constantly. And I feel like that's just putting them in holes that they can't get out of, especially versus teams like Toronto who have all their shit down.
Here's the thing for me. Go ahead, Ben. I'll let you go.
I want to make kind of a hot take on here. So I want to make a point to make a hot take.
We love Ben's hot takes.
Dallas statistically is playing as close to 500 ball as you can right at the moment. Like right down to like the maps they've won and lost.
To what?
They're like
Close to what?
500 ball. They're like 55 and 55 in maps.
Oh,
and it's
okay.
even if you look at stats and like points allowed and points scored and hard points, actually kind of nuts. I think, Tom, that the Clay loss is massive for this team. I think the stability that he brought and the pace and the way that he played and gap filling on the team is a huge miss in them. And they were able to run a system in 5v5 where Shotzi and who could really roam and make plays. And it didn't require a lot of like cohesive team fights because you always knew that Clay and Krim were cleaning up behind them and getting the pieces, and they were taking advantage of the squad spots. I think moving to 4v4, they got exposed in that play style because at the end of the day, like, you know, Inder's not as much of a pause slayer, so he's not going to replace the production that Clay had, and Krim struggled this year. And also on top of that, I think their S&D game has just not been, they haven't been as ahead of the game as they were last year. I think combined with those two things, they're just kind of in the middle of nowhere with their system.
I mean,
and I don't know if Reese playing better is going to fix that.
I mean, they broke up XEO for one. I mean, that's where their S&D game's starting to hinder. I mean, that XEO on the map in S&D, the way they were able to just hit lanes out together and just trade with one another was what made them dangerous in that game mode. I think for me, with these guys, they just need to focus on their individual talent and make sure that they're getting kills.
No, I disagree with that. I think their problems are way more systemic than individual performance.
I know, but the problem is like, they need to get kills first. I mean, they're not even getting kills. They're getting smoked.
The kills come with teamwork.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm saying with Vivid, right? Like
I'm gonna say it's a little bit of both, Tom.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's not like you're gonna have to play the game the right way, right? That's how you get kills. You're saying when you play the game the right way, it's easier to get kills, right? But I just feel like at the same time, I think what Porter's telling me is true. When Porter's telling me, you know, he thinks that the confidence is not there with the team, I think they're really overthinking this shit. I really do. I think they need to like get loosened up a little bit. I think they really need to focus on themselves. I think a lot of these players need to make sure that they're going back and watching some of these games and really focusing on what they need to do differently to get some kills here and make sure that they're dropping some.
But isn't that kind of the opposite of what you just said though? Like
what?
Like shouldn't they essentially like? Here's what I think, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the end of the day, they'll figure out the difficulties with hardpoint. I think their issues are in the other game modes right now. I think their S&D has been up and down all year, and they haven't gone on like a mega run of form in that game mode. And this goes all the way back to like stage 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what's happened with them recently in control, but they just cannot win a control to save their lives right now. And that is so bizarre to me in a team that has a player like Shotzi who's a playmaker, and they have a bunch of really like consistent smart players in Ilya and Krim. I just don't understand as a team like how they can be so bad at controls. So I think they need to put in a lot of work with their teamwork to figure that out, and then the teamwork will inspire confidence on the individual slaying.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of both, like Chris said, I guess, right? I think at the main time, I'm just like, I'm watching these guys play, and sometimes I just feel like even when they're in the favorable position, what I'm trying to say is even when I feel like they are playing the game the right way and I see them doing the right things on the map, they're still not getting kills. They're just getting world starred, or they're not picking up. Like, some of these players really need to start focusing on themselves and making sure that they're playing. Because let's be honest, they're just not playing good.
I also want to say that I think Clay, like what Ben was saying, was a big part of that, because Clay always brings the energy, and he almost like gives you that like delusional confidence that you like can feed off of, and them not having him on their team anymore probably hinders them. I know Crim's a lot more like calm and cool with the way he like approaches stuff like that, and he's not so like.
Are you saying that Crim is calm and cool?
No. But I'm talking about with like I'm talking about with like the way he the way he directs his team and like talks about stuff. Not so much like he's not like a super hype guy. You see what I'm saying? Like
he's not like a motivator.
He's not a motivator.
Crim's like the Chris Paul of Call of Duty. Like Crim is going to be very much in like
Chris Paul.
Yeah, well, Chris Paul is notorious for being a prick to his teammates and being hard-nosed on the court. That's always been his gimmick. That's why all the Clippers players hated him back in the day. But I think though they don't have the good cop bad cop thing that they had with Clay. I think they probably had a really good dynamic where 100%. Crim was sort of the guy that was like really riding them in practice, and Clay would be on the side like motivating them. They kind of missed that dynamic. It works really well on a lot of coaching staffs.
Crim does really well when he has someone that can like counter his logic almost, like just basically have a different perspective of looking at things, and he can like have those like healthy arguments with people. I mean, he did it all the way back in the freaking cold days, right? With like Aches, and like even on the Dallas Empire with Clay, like having somebody on that team that can do that with Crim would help them a lot, but unfortunately they obviously don't have that.
I mean, at the end of the day, I agree with everything you guys are saying about like the teamwork and the mentality and making sure that they're playing the game the right way and this and that, and the kills would follow right after that. But I'm honestly just tired of giving some of these guys passes. I think people just need to start stepping up individually as well. Like I think
I agree with you. Crim's been one of the worst.
They're not playing well. They don't even look good on the map.
On top of that though, Tom, like even if I feel like they all start doing that, I even talked about this with like Crim. I felt like even with Reese, right? If they do get to that point where they're all slaying better and slaying more consistently, I feel like they still won't ever surpass like their ceiling that they had with Hook. I feel like if anything, they'll still be there. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think they're gonna be as good as FaZe, even if Reese starts playing better and they all start playing better. I feel like they'll be the same team if they can get Reese and everyone else firing on all cylinders. They'll still be top 3. But I don't think that they're going to have the potential to win as much as I know a player like Crim wants to win.
Yeah.
I
mean,
that's a little bit of the OpTic problem too, but go ahead.
The one thing with XEO for me, like when XEO was a thing, was like I was just talking about it in the last series with Florida, and we talked about it with FaZe, and even in New York, the aggression that these guys are able to put on the map. Like I don't want Dallas to fall into that mindset of a team where their confidence isn't there and they're just sitting back and they're overthinking this and trying to set up everything. Like, make sure that the game is just flowing. Yes, you got to play the game the right way, but at the same time, they need to make sure that they don't let up on who they truly are as players, like Illy and Shotzi and now Vivid out with this team. They need to make sure that they're playing off each other, but keep up the confidence, keep up the aggression, pressure these guys.
Yeah, keep their identity as players.
Keep their identity as players. Like, don't just sit back and just let people run all over you and make you their bitch.
That's the Minnesota problem as well. So
yeah,
here's what I would say is they're also going to maybe get a little bit of a benefit in this group because they seem to have a really good matchup against New York for some reason, but they're now 0-6 this year against both FaZe and Toronto, who you would argue are probably 2 of the top 3 teams in the league. I agree. They have a very similar problem to OpTic. I think they can figure it out and they can get to a more consistent ceiling. But is that ceiling going to be winning chips? I don't think that's likely at the moment.
No, definitely not at the moment. I mean, from what we're seeing, absolutely not. I mean, Dallas, they start off this SSD good.
Well, let's talk about the next round because this round
is where it falls apart.
Everything falls apart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dallas, they go up 3-0, and then I'm pretty sure does Toronto win the next? They win the next 4. My God, Illy somehow takes out Vivid and he takes out himself in the process. So that's not what you want to see off the rip of a round. I think is that where it all fell apart? The team kill to kick things off.
Yeah, I mean, at this point you're 2v4 because you get that TK penalty.
You have the 3-0 to start, and then you start off the 4th round with a 2v4. A big team kill coming in. And that's exactly
and Toronto
had
done nothing. Toronto had done nothing at this point in this map. Like they were getting somewhat steamrolled, and they get a window back in. And look, Toronto, and we see Bedvance in the chat. Shout out him. Like Toronto's been a team all year.
Shout out
at least in the last couple of stages, it takes opportunities when they can. They played fantastic in the series, especially in the respawns. And they went on a little bit of a run here to go ahead and put their foot to the throat of Dallas.
Yeah,
there are
Vance in the chat.
there are a few other rounds I want to talk about if you wouldn't mind me
Yeah, talk about
it.
No, go ahead. You could talk about it. I'm just saying we had Vance in the chat. He's like, he didn't know what the fuck happened when Vivid and Illy went down. He said, just go away instantly. It's like, I mean, that's a blessing in disguise. I mean, for anything, that's for Toronto. You see that and you're like, that's what you needed. You needed a round like that to just kind of get back into it, get yourself a little bit of a freebie and use that momentum moving forward. But yeah, Ben, what do you want to talk about here, big guy?
So there are like a couple of things that Dallas does in this map, and this is one of them that like I'm curious kind of your guys' thoughts. So they go with this A setup, and they don't actually hold like either side of the map.
They're pinned. They're pinned.
Do you like to me, like I don't know if I really think that this post plant strategy is going to be like your most ideal setup, and you basically just kind of allow Toronto to just work 90% of this map, pin you in, and inevitably Toronto's going to get the trades and go ahead and retake the spot.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those things where Toronto, they have everything. They have all the map control in the world. Dallas, they're all in one spot of the map, and Toronto knows that. Based off their positioning, they have Dallas pinned. They're pinned in this little building. All they need to do is hold some L triggers and slowly inch up to this building and just collapse. And that's exactly what they did. Look, Dallas is fucked. They are fucked. They have nowhere to go. They have nobody who can make a play. There's no routes they could take. You can't finesse anything. You're absolutely trapped. And they did that to themselves.
Yep.
They trapped themselves. What were you going to say, Ben? You were about to say something?
No. And then this round was a little bit funky. There's a lot of trades that went down on the A side, but it was pretty much kind of a fake that they bid on from the Toronto end. They went ahead and ran like a nice little 2-2 split.
Play.
Number 7's watching middle, and they get the bomb down here, and then Toronto does a really good job playing around B bomb and catching everybody rotating off.
Yeah, I mean, you're going back to those mind games, right, Ben?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just really good, and this is why I think Toronto's been a really good S&D team now for a couple of stages. You do a really good job in the mid-round and mid-map adjustments. That's where we've seen the great S&D teams really pull away from the rest of the pack. They just do a good job of not letting the momentum run against them. They had that door open in that 4th round, and they went ahead, took it, and ran with it.
Yeah, it's the mid-game situational play, and that comes down to, one, preparation, making sure you go over this stuff and having everybody on the same page, and 2, just your comms in the middle of rounds and being able to calm something and do it right away, no hesitation at all. And that's something that we saw Toronto doing, and FaZe did it very well in the OpTic series. I saw FaZe pulling out a lot of new stuff in their arsenal, Ben, and I know you're going to want to probably talk about it. We didn't watch the matches together today, Ben, but something that I noticed. So I definitely want to talk about that. But Toronto do a great job. But Dallas ended up taking a round back. This was a very close one. Dallas needed this map. They needed this map because the minute they were going down 2-0, I kind of figured they were going to get 3-0'd after a map like this. Crim60 was able to find a big blood in this 9th round. Did they fall apart here? Did Dallas lose this round? Inside with a big trade?
Yeah, because they get stuck again.
They're trapping themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't know why. I don't know why that they struggle to just spread the map, play for information. Dallas was always that team, and that's what I'm saying. Without XCO, I just feel like that playmaking ability is not there right now, and they need to make sure they get back to that spot. But it just seems like they're playing so one-dimensional, and I feel like that's the best way to put it. It's just very one-dimensional. They're just hitting out sites. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, and then they're basically running out of options, and they try a kind of a home run play to try to hit out A, and Toronto do a good job waiting for it. It's just an instant 4v2, and the map's over at this point.
Yeah, it was over.
And then man, control I don't know. This map was so weird. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna skip in. I want to watch the 4th round here because it's just a full speed breakdown from Dallas.
Can we give some credit here to CleanX though? I mean, come on.
Yeah, this guy goes huge in this round. I'm gonna skip back to the beginning.
This round, the whole fucking
map.
No, the whole map. This guy was on another level.
To be honest, Tom, I would go back and forward and say that really that Toby's kind of taken a huge step up as a player in probably the last month or two since they made the change for Zen. I know they struggled a little bit initially. He's been unreal. Same with Cam. It just seems like they finally have found that sort of vein of chemistry we're waiting for, because we've known for 2 years that this guy's got unreal potential, and same with Cammy. But finally they found that consistency that we've been waiting for, and that's why Toronto has been so good, along with the stability that Insight brings with his play style, which isn't super fast. And then Ben Vance, who's a methodical player, knows how to play his pace, play corners, and set himself up.
I think it's a great balance of players. But Chris, I want to get your opinions on this. What is it? Why do you think all of a sudden these guys are just playing COD like this? I just feel like they look unstoppable at times. Toronto is a great team. I never seen, until Toronto won that event and they've been consistently performing like this, I feel like these guys just hit a different switch. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's got to be like the chemistry, right? Like
Mhm.
they're just so confident in each other, and I feel like they all have like such a good idea of how every situation is to be played, and
Yep.
they're
Watch
just
this.
they're just playing really good Call of Duty, taking good risk, having good teamwork,
This is
and
the
now their
confidence.
talent shows, right?
Right there, Chris. That's the confidence I'm talking about. What is Dallas doing? There's one guy left. Challenge him. Why are you letting Kleenex challenge you? Why is Kleenex picking up a Krig and cameraing the fuck out of you guys? Now, granted, they might have both been weak, but you have 2 guys there. It's like at least, and on top of that, they're stacking, lining up on each other. You have one guy pushing in by himself. Crimsix goes down. Another guy pushes by himself, and then 2 guys line up, and Kleenex gets a free 3-piece. And at this point, the round's over. There's 4 clean dead. They get the beat point. They flood A, get some trades, and bada bing, bada boom. How you doing?
Well, I think Dallas had to actually. I think this round goes under. Is this the round that goes under 1v1?
They were weak. Right? I understand they were weak, but they solo chowed. Crim solo chowed. A guy solo chowed the point, and then they just lined up while they were one shot instead of backing up and playing their lives or making a play. There's no confidence. They're not moving. They're just sitting around. They're just letting themselves die. That's the problem.
They had 0 people on bricks too. That's how this thing also
That's
spiraled
the
as well.
problem. That's the fucking problem with these guys. That's the problem. It's just little things like that, and it's like they're just like it just looked too easy for Toronto. It just looked too easy, and I think that's what Porter was talking about the most when I was talking to him, and you could see it when you're watching it. It's just Dallas has a lot of work to do in terms of their teamwork and what they're doing around the map and slang. They have a lot of work to do in every way possible.
Well, let's talk next steps for both these teams. I hate using that phrase again, but so be it.
No, what do you mean? Use that phrase again? What the fuck? You say
anyway.
ultimately 20 times. Who gives a fuck?
Whatever. So Toronto's only got 1 match next week. They're gonna go ahead and score up against London. That's probably a dub for them. So they're probably set there. And then on Dallas side, they're playing LAG on Thursday, and then they have a huge match against New York on Sunday. I think the LAG matchup's a weird one for them. Like LAG are a really good S&D team where Dallas has struggled. Sorry. And control, depending on what map we get here, we might get a really good set for LAG. So I think Dallas is really going to not have to look past that match to the New York match. They take it 1 series at a time, or they might be in a big situation going in that New York match where they need to get a result to win. I think they were kind of already there, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, that Dallas needs to beat LAG. They have to. I mean, that would be a big win for them. But I mean, LAG, that they need wins. So they're gonna be coming out with the fire. They're gonna be whipping out the QBZ and the fucking FAR again. You know what I'm saying, Chris? I don't know what that was, but with a buff OP Krig, I mean, I'm surprised we're seeing guns like that. To be
fair, like to not roast, Money Chin, he was frying with the FAR in that series.
I mean,
Money Chin. I don't know about the QBZ pick.
It's mostly the QBZ. I mean, I just don't understand why the QBZ's out. But for the most part, I didn't mind the FAR too much. Isn't the FAR pretty good? Dashy was trying it for a little while. It's very good in those medium close range.
Time to kill medium close range is absurd.
Yeah, it's good.
So.
It's really good.
It's not bad.
It was more the QBZ
We're gonna switch
for me.
gears and talk about this FaZe series. We have a special guest from this last series, Simp. Thanks for joining us.
Yo.
Hey, what's up, Simp? What's going on, kid? What's happening?
Chris?
We got OpTic Chicago going up against Atlanta FaZe, and we got Simp today. I didn't even know Simp was coming on the show. Ben, thanks for the heads up.
He just poked me 3 seconds ago.
Oh, he just poked you? Okay, so the flank. We have a lot of surprises here, Chris, on the flank.
Yeah. Someone give me the link.
Yeah, get him the link, Ben. You got it.
I got you the link, brother.
Well, first of all, Simp, good win today. Good win.
Thank you.
I think you guys played great. I definitely want to talk about your S&D because I feel like you guys are starting to click a lot more, especially on Express, because I think you can agree that was probably you guys' worst map. In S&D.
Yeah, statistically.
Statistically, yeah. But right off the rip, you guys start off with a Moscow hardpoint, and you guys are doing your fucking thing. I think it all starts off from the break-off with Alec, right? RC.
Well, Scump also team kills Envoy, which probably doesn't help the 4v3.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Real quick question. OpTic vetoed standoff search?
No, they're swapped.
We
swapped? Okay, because it showed it on the dock, and I was just confused how that even happened with your guys' performance on it before. Anyways, continue.
No, I mean, I just think the break-off, I talked about it yesterday, but just like how important a break-off actually can be. And it showed
especially
here
on
today.
This map.
Yeah, especially on this map. Like, RC's was able to start off streaky. He got some streaks. You guys got the flip. So not only did you guys get most of the time on P1 and P2, you had streaks to break P3. And at that point, you build yourself so much of a lead that as long as you guys stay disciplined and play the map the right way, Chris, like I feel like there was no way possible you guys are losing this.
Yo, Ben, you suck at golf.
Who is that?
What?
Who is that? Is that MC?
Wait, he wasn't even in here. How?
No,
what the hell was
MC
that?
just whispered all of us, bro.
Dude, he,
Yeah,
bro, he
was
can't be
no
serious,
way,
bro. He can't be serious.
Classic is that MC?
He always
Classic
does
MC.
this
Yeah.
shit, man. He
No,
always
Classic
does this.
MC,
Bro,
bro.
that actually just made me tweak. I just lost full.
Bro, I
I
didn't
actually
hear it. I
can't-
didn't see anyone in our
No
call. I was
way.
like, "Where's this?"
Yeah,
coming
I was like, I
Uh,
thought that was on my end. I said, what the fuck's going on? You know what I'm saying? He always does this shit,
Yeah,
man.
I was actually shook right there.
But yeah, I mean, to
I was like,
get back
yeah,
to
what
guys
the
back on the
hell
rails. I mean, this map. Look, you guys end up winning by what? Like the margin of points you get off this beginning. Alec gets streaks. He goes off.
You can't
here,
get a
and
better
it's-
start.
Yeah.
You cannot
It's-
get a better start.
you
You,
guys-
you
It's
win
really, really
P1,
honestly,
Yeah.
flip,
Alec getting
and
streaks. Alec
like-
getting streaks. Alec flipped us too. I'm pretty sure he was going big at the beginning of this game.
He
making
flipped you
plays.
guys on the second
Yo,
P2. But yeah.
he always does that in the big moments.
We
He's always-
gotta give
he's always
some-
going off,
Yeah,
bro.
we gotta give RC some gas because MVP, the last stage, comes into this new stage and he's 9-1 to kick things off. I mean,
Yeah, he's been unreal.
Chris, what is it about this guy as a teammate? Tell me a little bit about RCDs. What do you love about him?
I mean, he's just a really good IGL for us,
Mm-hmm.
and just because of how we are as like a team and like friends,
Yeah.
like he just knows how to keep us in line and make sure we're doing all the right stuff.
Yeah, I mean, on top of that, he's just good as fuck.
Yeah,
He's
and when
raw,
he
he's
and
talented.
especially when he's frying, it makes it so easy.
Mm-hmm. And then for the OpTic guys, I mean, yeah, I know a lot of people, right? We could pull up the stats. It wasn't very good. But for the most part, especially in this first map, I mean, they're just getting put in a blender. I mean, if you don't have spawns and you're just running it, you're just headbutting hills, I mean, you're pretty much going to probably get smoked. I mean, it's very hard to get kills. I mean, especially the sub players on Moscow. Like, if you're not in the upper hand, it's going to be difficult. But for the most part, that's credit to FaZe for just being able to shut them down and try and just give themselves the advantage. I mean, it's like you just said, Ben and Parasite, when you play the game the right way and you do the right things on the map, the kills will come, right? So it's just one of those things where FaZe just kind of played their game and just put them down. But Ben, tell me a little bit about this OpTic team and kind of what's going on.
I mean, I think personally the problem with OpTic right now with FaZe is I think the map sets overlap in a really bad position for OpTic because their best maps are FaZe's best maps. And what we've seen when they matched up recently is FaZe has had the edge in the respawns. And then once OpTic can't win that game too, the series is over confidence-wise. So I think OpTic just needs to do a better job in these matchups of just maintaining that composure. Because I felt like in the third map they kind of chalked it, especially in the last.
It looked
control
like they
round.
chalked it. I mean, it looked like it was at the point where it's just like they couldn't get anything going and they just straight chalked it up. I mean, we were watching it. We watched that last map, or at least I was in the team speak with some people, and it just seemed like they didn't have a goal on the map. Let's go into their listening off this Moscow hardpoint and just see how they sound.
Mid window, you said? Yeah. Mid window, help, go planner, go planner, go planner, go planner.
Mid window.
I will.
Excuse me, window on me.
Mid window, I'm in the bottom.
Yo, Abe is on helmet.
I have your
Abe,
right.
Abe, Abe,
Yo, street Alex, street Alex.
Nice.
Mid window, mid window.
Yo, he went back to B search. I'm back to
He's
B search.
challenging you,
We spawn mid,
I spawn mid. Yeah, I'm gonna go Eskies.
Hill, Simp,
Alright.
one shot, one shoot.
Next to you.
We can time, Tim.
Okay, let's try to contest this.
Could be Eskies.
Be outside.
I'm back.
Yo, take it on one shot time. I need
I have your right.
Nah,
I have your right. I have your right.
My child left.
Right, BG.
And
Down,
one
dead.
spot. Nice, two. One more right side hill, Simp.
Turn
And
around.
one's mid window, probably. Or
Nice.
Right there, let's go back.
Mid window.
Yeah, they're spawn here again. They spawn here again. Yeah, go through.
I'm hitting your
Yo,
ass.
Street. Get
Yeah,
time.
one
Street, get
time.
time.
I'm getting time.
Back PD, get time. Look at PD for Dill.
Where was Street?
Yeah, he was backside there. Street. He probably rotated. One could be glass.
Side
Yo,
door.
he's globe and glass.
So bottom PDA.
Nice.
Bottom
Globe,
PDA,
globe.
PDA, weak and one door.
There's two deep street. Got one.
More deep street.
Yo, hit through.
Help Dill.
Yeah,
I'm
staying alive here.
One's PD Abe, the other guy's back street.
In hill, Alec.
I'll
He's
see-
cube, Alec.
Side door.
I don't see the guy. Cube
outside
Alec, one shot.
He's doing this thing.
Still in the yellow cube, one shot. Still in the yellow cube, one shot.
Hey, Abe's in B search.
I'm going front. Come
Yeah.
front, Dill.
Nah, I'm
I'm
going
gonna be
front.
SND
Yo,
window.
once B search push me out.
That's him.
I'm going front.
Abe weak street, bro. Abe
Okay.
and BSND weak.
Are they calling a BZ Abe?
Mid right now.
Yeah.
P1.
They call him
Outside
Abe.
dead.
I mean, a BZ,
Yeah,
this whole listening, he was frying.
Nice, two.
Side door hurt. And
Side door not peeking. I have your side.
Side door hit.
Alec did make plays as well to
Yeah, one
kind of set
back
this whole
hill.
thing
Oh my
up.
God, Tyler got
I
his
think a
ass
lot-
beat.
I mean, Maven talks about it a little bit after listening, but you could just really see how annoying a BZ actually is from OpTic's POV. I mean, the constant tight shimmies that he's throwing, and he's just constantly changing up his position. And on top of that, he's just so aggressive, and he challenges everything. It's like super annoying to play against, man. It's just one of those he's one of those players that's just hard to keep track of.
One thing that's actually really frustrating, just watching OpTic and the way they like break kills, even when they get kills, like they don't like it takes them so long to advance up on the map when they get kills for a break. Like a lot of the time, like this is like something that Formal does a lot. He'll just like kind of like bounce up around the map, like L triggering an angle. Then he like doesn't see anybody. He'll like sprint up a little bit, start L triggering. Like sometimes he just needs to start sprinting, like just start sprinting as fast as possible and getting to like these spots and stuff like that, because it's just taking them way too long to even like break out of or break a setup. Like a lot of the time, like they're just letting like a BZ get back police and finesse and take his time, and he's just not giving them anything. And I think that's their issue, because he's playing off like an ego chow a lot of the time, and it just doesn't make any sense.
They have the potential to be that team where they're just constantly being a nuisance and constantly being aggressive. But I agree with you. I think sometimes they're a little slow in their decision making, or they're not quick enough on the map. It's making use of your kills.
I mean, I feel like with the listeners specifically, I feel like they were just on like a constant just like push. There wasn't really any like,
and they were separated, Chris. Were they not?
Like,
We got
it was
two
just like
Chris's
it
in
was
here
just
now,
a bunch of like staggered pushes.
Yeah,
like,
staggered
a whole lot.
pushes. It was all just one by one. They were all dying. There was no trades coming in. I mean, every time you went to an OpTic player's POV, he's getting double teamed. He's getting double teamed. They're getting shot on the side. It's like they're not doing anything together. And maybe that's because they're down so much and they're trying to chase the game at this point. But part of coming back and making that comeback is playing the game the right way and playing together and making sure you're staying disciplined. And it just seemed like they lost track of what they had to do on the map. They lost track of their priorities.
One thing I think they've struggled with the last 2 years is their ability to manage the game. And what I mean by that is always staying ahead of the opponent. I feel like oftentimes, and we talked about this earlier this year, they're like very much a plan A team. And plan A is whatever the objective is in front of them. And they're never thinking about plan B or the step ahead. And this, you get in trouble against a team like FaZe that is so disciplined in rotating a hill early, objective of trying to flip spawns. Whereas OpTic are sort of always kind of hitting the front of hill, and would like to see OpTic sort of develop more of a complete game to have a real chance in the series against a team like Toronto or a team like FaZe.
Yep, it's just they need a little bit more teamwork for sure, and this is the struggles that they had. They show it sometimes. Sometimes they show their teamwork. Sometimes they do stuff like this, and it's like they need to get on that level of consistency where every time they're getting on the map, the teamwork is on another level. Because the talent's there, but when the teamwork's not there, it's like you guys just said, they're not going to get kills, and that's why you're going to see some of these stats coming in. I mean, I could pull up the stats from the series today. It was
They're
not
ugly.
looking very good.
They're really ugly.
Really ugly.
And taking another step, Tom, like OpTic plays well against teams that are not the top 3 or 4 teams. Their record's very good, but the record against the top teams is really bad, and that's why they're sitting at like 15-12 or 16-12 in series this year.
Yeah.
They just need more depth.
They can out-talent. They can out-talent a lot of those
teams. They can out-talent LG because OpTic actually play pretty slow and disciplined, so those teams that play slower don't match up well. But when they play a fast team that has a pretty cohesive system, they really struggle. So we'd like to see that development from OpTic if they want to really go on a run this year.
Yeah, we can sit here and look at stats all day. Obviously, like in this game, Scump's not having the best game, but like, bro, if you're watching the actual game, they're just on the back foot the entire time.
Game.
I think this game is like mainly teamwork. I feel like.
Oh yeah, it is. It is.
Especially once you get on maps that are like Moscow, your raids, your Apocalypse, like those are very punishing maps. So those are the ones you need the teamwork, right? Checkmate and Garrison are a lot more finessey. They're a lot more mixy. That's where like on the maps where your teamwork and your individual like skill shines a little bit more. But when you get on these slower paced maps with more punishing hills, that's when you need to, once again, like you guys were saying, stay ahead of the game and be able to understand we have to chalk this up. It's all good. We can hold the next one.
Yep.
And then hopefully at that point, just rely on the other team to make a mistake and, piggyback off that snowball the game.
Discipline. It's just playing the game the right way. I mean, sometimes I feel like they lose track of that and they're just kind of all over the place. But going into the next map, you have Varsity's dancing, and that's never a good sight if you're the other team.
Always vibing.
If he's vibing,
he's always vibing.
He's going to come out.
OpTic had a good start in this map.
They did. They had a good start.
Envoy had a nice 1v2, which then FaZe got basically converted the same 1v2 in a later situation in this map. We'll kind of get into it, Tom, but I kind of really liked Chris. Did you guys have sort of a game plan coming into this map? I noticed you guys had towards the end of this, you sort of made this adjustment, had a fast day. Was that something you had seen in VODs, or is it something you kind of met or just read, just sort of watching how the map played out?
No, well, this map specifically, we did watch VOD for these guys just because it's OpTic. So yeah, we kind of saw what they did normally, and after the first round, we knew they changed it up. So we were kind of just trying to base it off the map in itself and kind of just how they were playing instead of like going off other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, one thing for me that I noticed with you guys in this map, Chris, is just like new things in the arsenal, man. New strats, new things in the book. And I don't know if you guys are just making shit up off the fly, like mid situational round. Like there was one round where you guys just ran across mid tracks. You guys just completely broke their ankles. I mean, you guys faked A and you crossed all the way across the map right back to B and got that bomb. Now you guys ended up losing that round. I personally think you guys trolled that round. Because Salium ended up dying top bridge when he threw a shimmy.
Oh yeah. I think he threw his life away that round.
Yeah, he threw his life away, and I think
he said he was sorry that round.
But it was just like, oh yeah, something MC would do. I could see it saying sorry.
Yeah, you know, MC gets a little aggressive sometimes, but you can mainly trust him.
But I think that it's just cool to see you guys throwing new stuff in the book, man, in the arsenal. It's just I'm seeing you guys do things that you haven't done before, and I think that's what's gonna make you guys a really good S&D team. It's what makes anybody a good S&D team.
I mean,
is being able to be unpredictable.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, but specifically for us, like I feel like just like how we kind of grew up in the scene with like S&D and everything. We just our like mid-game adjustments and our map awareness and S&D is crazy compared to like some other teams.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, that's
when you're a team like yourself and you're playing off a lot of the information you're getting. Like you guys are obviously all really good S&D players, and the thing about being a really good S&D player in this game is that you understand how to maximize the information that you're getting and then using that in your mid rounds. And that's the problem that a lot of like CDL players have, in my opinion. They don't understand how to get good information without throwing their lives away, and that's something that you guys in particular are really good at.
But let's talk about the other side with OpTic in this S&D. What do you think? Because, listen, we could talk about FaZe and kind of the plays they were doing, but at the same time, we got to look at the other side and look at OpTic and kind of pinpoint kind of the mistakes that they're making. Was there anything that caught your guys' eye with this OpTic roster and S&D? Because for me, it just seems like sometimes, again, it's just like a lot of solo chows. People are getting picked. Like, they're not really working off one another. Sometimes it seems like they don't even have a game plan. Like, sometimes I feel like they don't even know what they want to do. And I don't know if that's coming down to a comms thing or what, or maybe you guys are just throwing them off a little bit. But what do you guys think it is?
I think they got in trouble with the retakes on defense at the tail end of this map. They just had no answer for FaZe going A, and they weren't able to really get anything on defense. And then FaZe on the flip side played really good defense, and so suddenly momentum swung because OpTic really couldn't get anything going in the mid-game adjustment.
Well, there was one round this map. I don't remember which one it was where I think they got a blood while we were going B. And then they triple hit their their bottom hallway or curve, whatever you call it. And like they were trying to retake even though we haven't like planned yet or anything, and they kind of like gave their round away. So I feel like we got a lot of momentum from that round.
Yeah, I mean, momentum is a serious thing in S&D. I mean, we talk about it all the time once you catch fire. But OpTic, they don't start off bad. I mean, they go up 2-0. You guys bring it back, but then they win another round. What was the final score in this one again, Chris? I don't remember. Too many fucking maps.
6-4, I think.
6-4. So it wasn't that
I don't think
bad.
it was around 11.
I like this play out of you guys to rush plant this A bomb site. I like the route that Alec took. I like that he was able to just get it down right away. And look at the difference between FaZe's setup, Ben, and Dallas's setup.
Yep.
When Dallas was just completely staggered on that A point. Look at FaZe. You have one guy push out their side. You have somebody in the back holding the pinch. You have two guys holding the pinch. You only have one guy in that building on the site. And you also see Chris, Simp. You're the one who ends up hitting that late flank on that last round where you were able to pick up two. And close it out, and that's something else that I want to bring up. But just the way you guys are able to just stagger their pushes and just make it difficult for them. I mean, it's very difficult to break something when you don't know where anybody is. Scump ends up making a good play. I think Cell made a great play jumping down. I think it was just unpredictable for him to go back to where he just died.
I probably should have waited for him a couple more seconds because I made it kind of risky. Like, because if he was looking the way, we probably could have lost the round.
It was a good play.
Tyler and Alec also kind of threw the lives away in a little bit different situations. Would have made that a little bit easier.
Definitely. I think Tyler was just he got one and then they knew where he was, so he was just doing his best to finesse.
Envoy was
I
doing.
I don't know what Alec was doing mid tracks.
I'll
forget about that.
He was doing his fucking thing. But in this round, I mean, it's a 3v1. I mean, it's the 7th round. Formal can't really do anything. You guys go up 4-3. Ben, was there any round you want to talk about? The only round I really want to talk about is the one where Simp hit that lane flank. I want to show the stream how they broke that down.
This round, because I think so. You guys OpTic get set up pretty good here. They end up picking a BZ off the sign because you wide shells. And I think Dashy kind of makes sort of an unfortunate mistake here. So they decide to hit out their side. I think you guys probably had a pretty decent setup, Chris. But he ends up shooting this trophy right here. And I'm sure you guys' comms are like, WTF, this trophy just got shot. And then you guys just end up kind of just gunning them all down.
Well, yeah, I mean, we weren't expecting 3 to go out, but they kind of flew out expecting us not to be there or something. Like, even though we haven't like planned or anything yet. So they kind of just
I mean,
this is the round I was talking about before. They kind of threw away. I feel like
interesting round out of them. I mean, I like that they're trying to do stuff together. I mean, that's the positive to take away from it, is they're trying to like work something together and like try and work some trades and do what they got to do to break the site. But it was an interesting play to break the trophy. I mean, I personally don't think he had to do that right there. I think right there they just need to slide on out and challenge together and just catch people off guard and use your numbers, because there's no way you guys thought 3 guys were there, did you? I mean, did you guys have any idea?
As soon as we saw there was 3, we kind of knew that, like, they threw the round away because it's pretty hard to get away. Like, once you're in that hallway stuck there.
Yeah, they're stuck. They funneled themselves. I'm pretty sure you guys ended up losing this round, Chris. You popped a big 2-piece.
Yeah, I chowed a little too early on the last kill. I almost got the ace. It would have been nasty.
Yeah, you went a little rogue.
I thought I was full health already, but it takes forever.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was Envoy who made the play. Scum picks up a big kill, makes it a 2v1. And then it was the last round that I really enjoyed the plays that you guys made. Does Tupac, tell me a little bit about Tupac. Has he been helping you guys out a lot? I mean, I know you guys picked him up for an S&D coach, just kind of helping you guys out, maybe giving you guys some strategies, working with you guys every day in this game mode. How is he as an S&D coach?
Yeah, I mean, he's amazing work with, like, already, like, on top of it, he's like our friends just from the S&D scene, so it's already like a cool relationship. But yeah, he helps us with our strats and just making sure, like, when he sees like flaws in our setups or like just seeing how we play certain things when we scrim, he's always there. So he just helps us come up with stuff and make us.
Yeah,
I mean, I like
love
this play. You guys
I love
run,
this play.
The really sick B fake.
This is
you guys
great.
just get an easy bomb down to A, and you've already got a pretty good setup since you guys have your side. And it's
you
just
guys
a wrap
threw
from
tax,
here.
right, Chris? You guys threw shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
right there. They saw Alec cross, so he was just trying to get the bomb down before they wrap back.
But I think that the main thing is you guys just throwing shit and delaying it just those few seconds for Alec to slide onto this bomb and get out with his life. I mean, you guys delayed it just enough time before OpTic can get back and get there. And then while that happens, look at you. Now, instead of staggering on the point and going back and doing a simple setup, you understand that there's going to be gaps on the map now because the bomb's planted. They all have to give up what they're giving up. They have to make their plays towards the bomb, and you take full advantage of that. The minute you get around them and pop a 2-piece, it's chalked. I mean, they're funneled on the bomb site. You guys have them pinned. You have the numbers. So really just a great play out of you guys. I really like the play. Who made the play call, Chris? At the end right there, who made that?
Probably Alec.
Probably Alec. That was a good play.
Alec's usually the one that does it. So
I like that. I like plays like that. It's just mixing up the arsenal, man. Doing stuff that's unpredictable. You see so many pro teams that till this day they just like they play S&D so basic, like just so basic, so one-dimensional. They don't switch anything up. They don't make plays on the map. So I think that's what separates you guys from the rest, honestly. So I enjoy watching you guys play that. But then we go into a raid control, and Ben, this is where I think OpTic might have chalked this up a little bit. I mean, it just seemed like, after a while, especially the last round, it seemed like they weren't even trying to get on the point.
Yeah, actually, OpTic got a pretty good shout in this first round. They got a A-cap like right off the bat, but they were just never able to really get a good push on B. FaZe got a couple of really good pieces, and from this point on, I just felt like it's just weird watching this OpTic team in these raid controls that they played the last 2 series against FaZe. Although, did you not? I don't remember. You guys played them a raid control last time, right, Chris? Or was it Garrison? I don't remember. Either way,
I think we played raid last time we played them.
It was raid, I think.
It was
I'm pretty sure. Last time it was raid for sure. That was the one we were on the Atlanta server, right?
Yeah.
Last match. Yeah, it was raid.
But again, I just feel like OpTic just kind of go into these offensive plays here on this round after they go kind of 4 dead, and it doesn't seem like they have a cohesive plan. They just keep hitting bed over and over and over. Not a lot of pinch action, not a lot of taking middle, not trying to set up a play where we get kitchen and funnel out the back and spawn them laundry. It just seems like they were going back to some 1-on-1 basics, and that's not really going to work against a good team. You're going to need to kind of mix it up. And
you see it right
try
there.
something
They're
meta.
doing it again. They die bedroom and they come out spawn. They just flood bedroom again and just die. Just take some routes. Take routes
the guy
left, take
kitchen
routes
just
mid.
runs in by himself.
I'm pretty sure this first round they kept the point almost immediately too.
Yeah,
I think they had a bunch of time.
It's like, honestly, they're just making it so easy for you guys. Like, it's just like you guys don't need to worry about anything. Like, they just keep flooding on in, and you guys are picking up free kills. They're running into your L triggers, and it's like, it's too late. Now they're starting to go mid now, but it's like, it's too late now.
They only have like 1 or 2 pushes.
Yeah, they have 15 seconds left, and now they finally start working through kitchen. They're trying to do everything they can, but they're just funneling themselves. You pick up a big 2-piece. Last guy's in money. They end up losing this first round. Now, granted, it wasn't offense, but I would just like to see them switch it up a little bit when they're on these breaks. Like, just find different ways to make it harder for the other team. And I think that's the main thing. Is just focus on taking some routes and do it together, too. You see Envoy trying to do it sometimes, and he's doing it by himself. So You want the whole team focusing on taking those routes and doing whatever they can to pick up some kills, maybe work some spawn kills, right? Pick up a kill or two in kitchen, pick a couple people off spawn, and then try and collapse on that point. Just make it harder for you guys, but they end up losing the first round. They go into a defense, and then you guys were able to cap A right off the rip and work a B plan. And we'll see a little bit of the difference on kind of what you guys like to do, but the difference here is you guys already have bedroom control and you're getting kills. But talk to me a little bit about what you guys do here to kind of break onto this B point.
I mean, it was kind of just getting their base control, and I think we got 2 or 3 dead, and we were just able to stack and win. I
Like,
think
you see
eventually.
number 7, you see you,
I
right?
yeah,
You're
also-
already
I was-
taking her
yeah.
out. Like, look
I
at
also
you.
was
You're
able to
going
get the
around.
cord and start spawning them deep laundry.
Like
So as soon as we do that, it's just a matter of them getting the kills so that we know that they're all spawning out.
yeah, you guys push through front, middle, and you take a route left. And when you get those kills, you're able to pick people off spawn. You're able to make things hectic, and that's what you need to do on offense. You need to make things hectic, and you need to get kills like that. So you allow that time to get onto that point and work some stacks. But what's up, Ben?
But yeah, I mean, let's talk about the situation because I think this is also a little bit of a mistake from OpTic, right? So there's a bit of a mixy gunfight in middle. Number 8 of BZ is going to go ahead and get kitchen control. He's going to go ahead and kill, and then die in a window. But this guy spawns basketball and just doesn't pick up the pinch. And they have 2 guys watching the front. And I know it's sort of a 50-50 play, but the cascade effect here is you get that kill. You guys kill number 1 in Hill, and they're just forever away in laundry, and it just sort of spirals from there.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, I mean, Simp just makes a good play. He literally spawn kills him. I mean, Dashy comes off spawn, he's dead within 2 seconds.
Yeah.
He should try and pick up on that a little bit quicker. Like, if you're getting that spawn, like, yeah, there's probably one coming behind you. And you also got a kid spawning deep laundry for OpTic.
But it comes back to also Scump on the life before that, pinching all the way around circle and pinching middle and getting 0 kills and then having to come off a spawn on laundry. It's just like they're not doing a good job of taking middle control and staying alive.
Yep, I mean, at this point, you see the difference, right? FaZe, they take some routes, they get some kills, and it opens up the map for them. It allows people to come through mid, it allows their team to come through bedroom, and get onto this point. They stack the point, they work their corners, they have some crossfires together, and they get the point. I mean, you guys make it look a lot easier than it actually is, to be honest.
Well, I think our teamwork's probably the best in the league. I think this mode's literally all teamwork and wave pushing, like I think Jason was saying the other day.
Yeah.
It's all about just taking advantage of like your numbers in the waves and just setting up for the next one.
Yeah, for sure. I think you guys are just really good at working off one another, but I think you guys are also good at just knowing when to make plays, and I think that's the difference. I mean, when you watch you guys play and then these other teams, that's definitely the biggest difference. I think there's a lot of other teams in the league that have good teamwork, but I think the ones that are struggling in this game mode, it really shows. Like, you can really tell why they're struggling and why they can't get anything going. But
yeah,
this side's defense, if I remember correctly, you guys just shut them out. Do you not?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't really. I don't think they get any ticks. I think it's just.
It's a full speed chalk.
I'm pretty sure we get a wave
This
down.
is where I thought OpTic just chalked it. Like, I thought OpTic was just, in the struggle bus.
I think we get like 4 down, and then we just put them in the absolute pit.
Yeah, you guys had them pinned, and you guys do a really good job just pushing out all those lanes. I mean, you see you doing it right now. Like, they're all pushing through B, but you end up pushing through A. They end up getting you. They kill you, but at least you're attempting to push up the map and try and keep them pinned, right? Keeping that aggression on the map instead of just sitting back holding L triggers. I like that you're being aggressive and making plays. But you guys just do a really good job. I mean, at the end of the day, I think you guys are in a good spot. Ben, tell me a little bit about OpTic's future and kind of some things that you think they need to do moving forward.
Well, I think we've talked about what they need to do going forward. Next week, they only got 1 match. It's going to be against Paris on Saturday. I would expect them to probably cop that dub.
Yeah.
And then on the FaZe side, Chris, you guys are going to play Seattle first match on Thursday. And then you're going to face off against LA Thieves second to last match on Sunday. So
Nice.
Should be a couple of good series for you guys next week. Yeah.
Should be a good one. I think OpTic, they're definitely really frustrated with that one. I mean, you can see the looks on their faces. The individual performances definitely not there for those guys. You know that they're definitely a lot better than that. But they're definitely gonna go back to the drawing board and just try and figure it out. I think OpTic struggles are always gonna be with those top 3 teams. I think for them, their talent will always push them above the rest. But in order to beat those top 3, they need to clean up a lot of things, and that's what they're gonna be working on moving forward. So we'll see if they can turn things around.
They're 8-0 against the bottom of the league, and all their losses are against like New York,
the top 3,
Atlanta, Dallas, and Toronto.
Yeah, the top 3, top 4, whatever you want to say. I think if they can figure out some of these little mistakes that they're making and just kind of figure out how to work a little bit more as a team, and they'll be okay. But they, like we always say, I mean, it's getting to the end of the year now, guys. I mean, people are running out of time. But at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. They'll go back. They'll keep practicing as well as every other team. And then we got some more matches coming up, Ben, if you want to pull up the schedule.
I don't know if they
Did they not show it? Did they not show the schedule?
I'm trying to find it, but if not, just stall for a second while I try to look for it.
No, you're good. I could probably pull it up. I mean, it's
There
probably
you go.
guys. Oh, that was it right there. No.
No, that was the match
today's-
yesterday.
that's today's
Oh,
schedule.
okay. Let me see.
No,
Maybe they
just
tweeted
pull
it
up the
out.
website here. I'll
Yeah, link it over. And guys, of course, as always, we'll go into some questions at the end of the show. And if there's anything that you guys want us to answer, I know there's a lot of FaZe fans, OpTic fans, Dallas fans, all kinds of people in here. If there's any questions you guys want us to answer before we call it and Ben hits his putt, because I already know today Ben's sinking that shit. I already know he is.
I like that confidence, but Tom,
Nah, that's my fucking guy, Ben.
In TeamSpeak, if you want to pull it up.
Oh, we got Zinni too. He poked me. I didn't even see that. Let's poke him. Let's say hello to Zinni. I know you guys always love having Zinni on, but let's pull up the schedule here. I'm gonna bring it on.
Tommy!
Zinni, what's happening, kid?
What's going on, guys?
What's
Hey,
going
Zen.
on, Zin?
I was
What
left
up?
out today. You guys didn't want me in.
No, I don't want you in. What do you mean?
I don't know. I was waiting a long time.
I got my
Alright.
poking sounds off because during the show, all I hear is you've been poked. You've been poked over and over again, and people are like, "What the fuck is that?" So I just didn't see it. But
That's all right. What a fucking boring day of matches, huh?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a snooze fest.
a little bit. Ben, I said that, and you said, "What do you mean?"
Yeah,
What the
well, now I'm
fuck?
taking the other side
What
of
is
the
this?
argument.
What is
Hold
this? Come on. What the fuck? You treat me differently now. We got to kick things off on Thursday. Seattle Surge going up against Atlanta FaZe.
Wow, who's gonna win that?
What do you think, Zin? Who do you think is
Wait,
gonna
Zen,
win
that's
it?
maybe a good
All
match.
right, let's ask this question. Does anyone in
come
this
on.
room think that Seattle is going to win that series?
No.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Yes.
There we go.
I personally do not.
Guys,
Like
we're
actually
estimating-
yes, or is that a
No,
couple yes?
I mean, do you guys want meme? Do you guys want some meme takes? Because I brought them yesterday, but they didn't work out
Here,
very
I'm gonna
well
give
today.
you guys. I'm gonna give you guys my speed guesses, and I guarantee I'll
You
be
get
right.
the first two series, okay.
Okay, ready? Well, oh, just the first two?
Yeah, we just do the Thursday.
Oh,
predictions
Thursday.
today.
yeah,
It's only the
okay,
two
you're right.
series.
Okay, well, Anna, I know I'm going out on a whim here, but I'm gonna say FaZe 3-0.
Okay.
Okay.
And then for this next one, hear me out. Gorillas 3-1.
That's what I'm thinking. Zen, like, you know what? LAG's a really good S&D team. If Dallas are dumb enough, they'll play them on raid control. If not, LAG's had some opportunities on a Garrison or a Checkmate, and we know Dallas really struggled in that game mode. And depending on what team they can get, maybe LAG finesse in Apocalypse map 1. Suddenly, this map set opens up really nicely for LAG if they can grab like 2 maps and it goes to game 5, or in your scenario, they close it out in 4.
I mean, I know I wasn't here when you guys talked about Empire, but I just feel like they're all over the place right now. Like, I'm not watching Empire. Like, it's... I
They
don't
have
know how to
confidence
explain
issues
it.
right now. They have confidence
Yeah,
issues. They're not seeing like
it's just
themselves.
not the team that you'd expect, and I think LAG is probably a more well-rounded team right now. Like, I think they play more like a cohesive unit. Granted, they have some individual inconsistencies at times, but I think they have a better overall understanding of what they want to do together.
Mhm.
And I could be wrong. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Empire
We can
come
literally
out and win
just
3-0.
stop being around the bush, and Empire is ass.
Jesus Christ.
They're
My
not good.
God.
Jesus.
My
They're not
God,
good. They're
Mono!
not good.
I mean,
like
Chris.
all the players on there. They're just
yeah,
not good.
I mean, that's not to
They're
say
not-
that's not to say that's what I said, because people say I'm always saying that shit.
should
But
have.
that's what I
They
said.
should
They're
have
just not
lost to
playing good.
Ravens. They should have lost to Ravens. Like Ravens obviously trolled. Like we watched the matches back. We saw the scenarios they were put in. They trolled. Granted,
Mhm.
Dallas obviously won the series. Empire is just not good. They're not good right now.
Yeah.
It's not to one person. Their team is not good.
Listen, I see a
Period.
lot of people coming in about the CDL tweet. I see it. We'll talk about it after the predictions, okay? But I agree, Chris. That's what I was saying. Individually, I think they just need to perform a little bit better. I mean, I'm of course that comes with working together as a team and doing what they got to do around the map in terms of playing the game the right way, and the kills will come. But at the same time, I feel like individually they're just not playing well. I mean,
They're just not good.
even when they are in the right situations, even when I feel like they do have the upper hand, they're getting shit on. Like they're getting worked. And you just got to call it how you see it sometimes. And I think that's why I think the main thing right now is individually they need to focus on themselves, focus on their confidence, and try and get back into that form. But hey, it's gonna be hard. It's not easy to get out of it's not easy to get out of a confidence slump. There's a lot of pro players who go through that, if not everyone. So we're going to the next match. Oh, is there anybody else who didn't predict? I didn't predict. I'm going LAG 3-2. I think it'll be a close series, but I think LAG will close out the S&Ds, maybe take a respawn and call it a day. Is there anybody else who's got a prediction? Chris, did you give yours?
For what? Which one? Sorry.
LAG Dallas, you give your prediction?
Probably LAG 3-1 or 3-2. I'd say. In my
Okay, so
opinion.
it looks like we're all going
I don't
LAG,
have
which
any.
is
I don't have any
crazy.
confidence in Empire right
That
now.
is pretty crazy. I don't think any.
I don't
agree.
have any
I don't think
confidence in
of us
that
see
team,
Dallas
bro.
figuring this out.
I hope Dallas, puts it together. I like everyone on the team. I just don't have any confidence in their team.
Yep,
So-
and then
Yeah,
what's
hold
up,
on.
Ben?
I think people are misreading this tweet. So Tom just put on a tweet on the screen with Slasher. I guess this is this in our chat a few minutes ago. Said I'll be free soon. I think people are misinterpreting this tweet. I don't think that means that he's going to be released from the team. I just think let's contemplate the fact that Thieves aren't playing particularly good. And I won't be surprised if Austin is at some point rotated back in just because they need to try more options.
No, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't see Draws or Kang get subbed out. They've both been playing good, like statistically at least.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know,
as
man.
I think Austin deserves to be in the league somewhere, I mean, it's Slasher. I don't think we'll see him on Thieves again, at least not this year. I'm pretty confident when I say that.
Do you think he's gonna find himself on another team? That's what I was just gonna ask. You just said elsewhere. Never mind. Keep going.
I mean, maybe, but I mean, we've been talking about it for a while. I feel like the only teams that I think could make another change are Dallas if they keep underperforming, and then like maybe a Minnesota. But I mean, they're sort of sitting pretty in top 8 right now. It all depends on how confident these teams are to win some of these majors and champs.
He also won't be very cheap. I'll tell you that.
I also think
I'm not sure about that. I don't think. I think they'll sell them for lower than you'd assume just to get that payroll off their team.
Why? So unless someone comes to them with an offer, and I agree, if maybe they go low, there's no point in buying them out because it's what, 60-day buyout. You're already at the end of the season at that point. You might as well eat them up the salary. Why would you make another team better? But I do think that 100 Thieves don't have a set 4 yet. And yeah, I know like Kenny's playing good as a main AR, but I just think that like they're so in the weeds right now on trying to find that system that I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Austin may be part of their plan still.
I don't know. Or maybe he's just talking about, in a 2-3 months, like his contract's over.
Yeah, that's what he's pretty much saying.
Then fair enough, I guess.
That's pretty much what he's saying in the chat. So
yeah, I mean, he's saying 2-year contract. Yeah, I think his contract's going to finish up.
Like we've talked about this a lot on this show that like this might be a really lit, for lack of a better term, free agency period.
A lot of ARs on the agency, Zin. You got to think is Zin. You got to think that maybe you're going to find yourself on a CDLT. You got a lot of competition out there. What do you got to say to your competition, Zin?
Listen, man. I can't say anything on this show or on my stream without Reddit going nuts saying I'm a cocky asshole who can't win in challengers and I'm undeserving. Listen, I'm just going to do what I can do. There's obviously competition. You got Slasher, you got accuracy. If a team wants me, hell,
Tom
talk to Ulster.
Gravity, you got Tom, you got you got Slasher, you got accuracy.
Listen, Chino was placing top 32 and top 128 in challengers, and he's probably been looking the best on the Gorillas team. So
I mean, hold on,
it's not indicative of
that's a very big misconception.
Wuskins,
is that winning
true,
in challengers
is
indicative. Wuskins is not competition for that. Are you talking about next year?
Yeah, next year.
Oh, I thought you were talking about this year.
No.
Listen,
yeah, Parasite, never
if
mind.
there's no expansion, which I'm really hoping isn't the case, it's just going to be another shit show. You can very well see someone like me not being in the league, and that's where
we can't even talk about expansion because let's be honest, none of us know what the fuck's going on. So we'll just have to wait and see until there's an announcement. But at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. And I heard a lot of different things about that, but we'll see. We'll fucking see.
Listen, I really hope for players, fans, everybody. I just think having 16 teams at the very minimum is a lot better than what we have currently at 12. And there's just so many. Just think about all the players that you have outside the league, right? Like, I mean, we'll say me, Slasher, accuracy, like you said, Tom, John, Sib. There's just so many names. So I mean, who knows? Let's hope.
Yeah.
Aggie.
I mean,
let's
yeah.
go.
I mean,
I'm in there.
Parasite's another one. I mean, there's a lot of players on the sideline waiting to come on up and try and get their spot, right? So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens at the end of the year. But guys, please, if there's any questions that you want answered, drop it in the chat. We got a lot of people in here that I'm sure would like to drop their opinions and say what they got to say. So please drop some questions. A lot of people are saying General as well, Jordan General. Listen, there's a lot of players, man. There's a lot of fucking players. There's a lot of players, guys. Methodz isn't capable of not making a conversation about himself. Come on, that's not true. I mean,
you're asking him about himself.
We just asked him about it.
They literally asked me, you fucking ugly prick. Send me a picture of what you look like for $50.
What the fuck's wrong with you, Zin?
You tweet me a selfie of you, and I'll give you $50. I swear to God.
Will Zoomaa ever go back into the league?
Keyboard and mouse returns, he's in, trust.
Yeah, keyboard and mouse, I'm in. I don't know.
I've seen his one taps, bro, trust.
Listen, it's one of those things where I've said it before on this show, but I'll say it again since you asked. It's not that I can't play in the league. Like even this year, like I think I could have been on like a top 16 this year and did my thing, but I don't think I would have been doing my thing, if that makes sense. Like I don't think I would be at the Zoomaa that I want to be at. And that mentally was just tearing me down, and it was hard to put the team through that when I felt like there was things where I felt like I couldn't control. And when you feel like as a player you're doing things, or when you feel like as a player you could be hindering the team because you can't play at the potential you want to play at, that was very difficult for me to deal with because I'm a competitor at heart, and I'm also a fucking cocky asshole when I play. And when I can't ego chow and do certain things that I love to do and know that I can do, I knew that they would be better off going to the bench and maybe getting somebody better. So, going back to the team and just letting them know, like, listen, these are the problems I'm having. I recommend you guys go out and get somebody else, I think was the right move. And
being self-aware sucks, Tom.
It was the hardest
You're just
decision
hypercritical
ever,
on yourself all the time.
I really wish I was one of those morons who's just in like a daze and I have no idea what's going on around me. Don't you just wish you were ignorant to everything? Like, ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, I tweeted I think yesterday, and I think Arceus tweeted me the fuck, and I was just like, bro, ignorance is bliss. Like being self-aware and just being aware of like everything, and it just makes you a hypercritical person. And when things aren't going your way, you always just look down on yourself, and it's freaking
I'll tell you this: it is very difficult for me sometimes to watch New York play and to watch pro teams play, because obviously I miss it, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's hard, man. It's fucking hard, dude. It's hard. But like, what am I gonna do, man? What am I gonna fucking do, dude? I'm happy that I got a good family by my side right now, and you guys have been supporting me every single step of the way. So I appreciate you guys, man. I really do. I miss it though, man. But I'm going pro in Valorant. You'll see me on Sentinels in about a year.
Those guys are gross, man.
They are gross. I actually I really enjoyed watching them play today. I've actually been really enjoying myself.
Genuine question before you end.
Yeah.
So like, obviously you blew up full-time streaming. Do you still miss competing as much as you thought you would, or is it more like, I have this fucking community, I'm having a blast doing this?
Nah, I miss competing, bro. I miss competing. I mean, I fucking just said it, right? Like, I just do that. Sometimes it's hard for me to watch, honestly.
Would you give it all up? Would you give up what you're doing right now if you had to choose one? You'd compete?
When the crowd comes back, yeah. Fuck no right now. Absolutely not. But when the LAN events come back and just seeing the supporters and hearing your name getting chanted in the crowd, it's just like, I don't know, man. It's really hard for me to talk about it right now. You know what I'm saying?
Caught intel. When LANs come back, Zoomaa comes back.
I said it in an interview recently. It's like there's a quote: "Athletes die twice," and it's kind of like the same thing for anybody that competes at the highest level in something, right? Like we're the top 0.0001%. Like if you're a starter in the league right now, you're one of 48 players, and a lot of us have been doing it for over a decade. So to actually walk away, no matter if you're successful in streaming, YouTube, you get a job on the back end. It's a very big lifestyle change. It's legitimately your entire life changing. So it's fucking.
I mean,
scary
I did it for
about,
like almost a decade, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I did it for almost a decade. I mean, it's hard to talk about now. Like my voice is getting a little shaky, man, because I just don't like talking about it. But even like writing the Twid longer, like I just couldn't do it.
I can't.
I was just crying. Like I just couldn't fucking do it. And a lot of people would call you a bitch, and they're like, dude, that kid's up. There's a lot of articles being made about me, and people going on radio hosts and radio shows and stuff like that, and they were like, what a pussy, get a real job, you're dumb and this and that, and like I was just like, dude, with all due respect, like those guys can go fuck themselves, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, fuck you.
It's like they don't understand like that we're in that percentile of like players that's like we're playing against the best of the best, right? I'm not sitting on the couch with my feet kicked up eating potato chips, playing video games. I'm fucking playing against the best players in the world.
What we do is the most misunderstood thing from the outside. If you don't know what we do, you talk to anybody. It's, you play video games for a living? That's amazing. I can't think of anything better. And it's like, yeah, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's incredibly stressful. It's
just like I was just mind blown. Like obviously it was all love on Twitter, right? Like the gaming fan base was nothing but love and very supportive, and that helped. But you would be surprised on like Facebook, on radio stations, articles being read. It was nothing but negativity in the comments. People were just cooking me, calling me a pussy, calling me a bitch, and stuff like that is just like, it makes me sad. Like I was just like, you work really hard, and knowing how much work goes into it, it was just like, it's really disappointing to see. And I've called out BBC Radio and some other articles and shit like that, but honestly, it got to the point where it just wasn't even worth it, right? It's just how the media is. But at the end of the day, man, like I feel like people who play like esports at the highest level, no matter what game you're playing, like it's hard, bro. It's fucking hard. Like mentally, you put in a lot of work. You put in a lot of work, and it takes a lot of concentration and focus and a lot of dedication, and most importantly, a lot of sacrifices, man, between
Everything.
like friends and relationships and certain things. It's like, you know, you go through a lot of shit. You know what I'm
It's a
saying?
very
So-
isolated lifestyle. People like listen. It's you all see the highlights of it, and like I said, I wouldn't trade it for the world, but it can get lonely, man. Like there are times where growing up in high school, you're not eating dinner with your family. Like pause the game. I can't fucking pause the game. You're not seeing friends. You're not. It's.
I mean, it's part
it's
of the.
tough, bro.
I mean, but at the same time, you know, I also felt very grateful and blessed to be doing
course.
what I do and you know love to do and making good money doing it. But you know, it's a lot of work, and sometimes I feel like people, you know, don't understand that. You know, they don't get it. But you know, what are you gonna do? You know, what are you gonna fucking do? At the end of the day, you stay true to yourself. You do what makes you happy, and don't ever let anybody tear you down from that, guys. Chat. You know, do whatever you want to do in life, and do whatever makes you happy, and stay true to yourself. And you know, there's always gonna be people that tear you down and try and hate. But at the end of the day, man, like you know, if you're getting haters and people are being negative, then you're doing something right. You know what I'm saying? So. We'll just leave it there, and we'll end the show there, man. And I appreciate you guys showing all the love and support. I appreciate you guys coming in here every single day. I love every single one of you. Appreciate Zinni, Parasite, and Simp, most importantly, for coming on. And we'll catch you guys in the next one, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure to go to anchor.fm/theflank if you want to listen on Spotify or Apple or whatever the hell you want to do. Go follow at The Flank on Twitter, at Ben J. Nassim, at Zoomaa with 2 A's. Go follow all these guys in the chat. And I fucking love you guys, man. Thanks for always supporting. And we'll see you guys in the next one. All right?
Peace.
Have a good day, man. Have a good fucking day.